If you just logged on, remember two things. First, we do give credit for any of the trainings this week. We'll get you credit for club officer training for next term. Starting in January, we start doing club officer training again, but any trainings we do after the beginning of November count. So remember to put your name, your club name, and your office or offices that you hold. Put those in the chat. So Mark Mandel will be able to give you credit going forward to club officer training for next year. And secondly, we do record all of these. We will be posting all of these throughout the course of the week. If you do not wish to have your image recorded, remember you can just turn off your camera. We hope you'll leave them on, because for all the speakers, it is so much better to be talking to faces instead of just black squares or pictures of people. Having that ability to see facial expressions really does make all the difference in the world. We hope you'll be able to leave your cameras on tonight. But we welcome you again to Fall Education Week. Thank you all so very much for being here. There's been a lot of work that's gone into this. So first, I'd like to recognize Mark Mandel, Kathy Cunningham, Patty Pick-Frankie, Mark Walton, for all of the amazing work you've done to get this week launched and off tonight. And I am so excited to listen to our speaker tonight, teach us all about Zoom 101. But before we do that, it is my pleasure to welcome to the virtual lectern tonight, your hostess with the mostest tonight, our very own Kathy Cunningham. Give it up for Kathy.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And before I get started, I am sharing my screen here. I want to just remind you, I want to add to what Scott said about not only are the club officers getting credit for attending, but those who are attending, even if you're not a club officer, you will have your name go into a drawing for Saturday. We're going to have some door prizes. So you got to, there's a benefit of being here tonight in so many ways. And speaking of Saturday, I just want to remind everybody of our conference events that are coming up. Tonight is Zoom 101. Tomorrow night is our own Patty Pick-Frankie, who's going to talk about online presentations with OBS Studio. Don't know what that is, but I'm anxious to see what it is because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And it can make a big difference in your presentations. Thursday, we're going to have an additional Zoom diving deeper for Zoom 201. Friday night, lightning in a bottle. Find electric moments in your speech. And Super Saturday starts at 9:30 in the morning with networking and just getting online, but then we will start and have, it is going to be a fabulous Saturday loaded with learning, laughs, and lots of fun. To see our full schedule and to find those links for those sessions, just go to our new website, thank you, Patty, at toastmasters.org/fall-education/. And if you can't get all of the last part there, just at least remember toastmastersd11.org, and there is a link for Fall Education Conference. Now, for those of you who don't really know me, I know what you're thinking. Yes, I do. You are probably sitting there thinking and asking yourself, who is this Kathy Cunningham? Where have I seen her before? Why does she look familiar? Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm not only the Division E Director for Toastmasters, but I'm also Flo from Progressive. Okay, I'm not really Flo, and I can't bundle your insurance for a discounted rate. I'm a member of Twin Bridges Toastmasters, and we do tend to have a lot of fun around Halloween dressing up in our costumes for our meetings. Matter of fact, our speaker for this evening is also a member of Twin Bridges, and she is famously known, at least within our club, for her costumes. Here, She's doing her best rendition of the classic story, The Little Red Hen. And yes, I did get permission from her first. When it comes to Zoom, Rakia is no chicken. Serving currently as our Vice President of Education for Twin Bridges, Rakia is here tonight to help us become more comfortable with the features of Zoom and enrich our overall Zoom experience. Please give her a hearty, warm Toastmaster welcome to our fearless Zoom Master Extraordinaire, Rakia Bacon.
Wow, what a way to introduce me as a chicken. Really? Well, the best part about it is my last name is Bacon, and nothing goes better with eggs than bacon. So you should not forget my name. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and thank you for being a part of my first time leading any type of lesson in Toastmasters. I give the blame to Scott Brown, maybe, and then to the two Marks, and then to Kathy, because I have never really participated in too many of the activities. I've done the TLIs, but that's about it. Well, thanks to the pandemic and Zoom, I have found something else that is sparked my interest, and I have tried to learn as much as I can. Thanks to Lori Haynes, I have learned more than, that's what really got the spark going. So tonight, I just want to basically take you on a short Zoom tour to help you be a better participant. How about that? I can't say better member, I can say better participant. So many of us, we hear the word Zoom and we're just, oh, do we really have to do another Zoom meeting? It's almost like watching TV, but there's a big difference. We have this really cool little remote control that we can do all kinds of things with while we're in our Zoom, to where maybe you don't have to fall asleep, or maybe we don't have to wonder why you're not showing your camera because you're not there. How about that? Well, I'm going to start. Everybody has a Zoom just like me. You have a screen that should have 4 corners on it, even if you're on a cell phone. First thing I want to do is I'm going to start our world tour of Zoom in the corners. We're going to do 4 corners. The top left corner on your screen is going to be corner number 1, and I will start there and go around. But one thing I want to throw out there, just in case you need some help. There at the bottom of your screen is called the Zoom toolbar, and there is a cool little thing down there that says reactions. You can click on that right now on your screen. You can do it all by yourself. I'm not going to know whether you're doing it or not unless you click on one of those little icons, whether you're happy to be here, thumbs up, or you think what Kathy said was funny. You can do a happy emoji. It looks, I see everybody's, but okay, you guys know how to do this. All right, that's great. Well, that's the first thing. So if you have a question while I am talking, feel free to raise your hand, because what that does for me is it moves your screen, your little square, to where I can see it, and I will try to answer a question. So feel free to interrupt me at any time with one of those. So at the top of your screen is a green, looks like a shield. You can click on that, and it should just basically give you the meeting information. It's going to tell you Fall Education Week, Zoom 101. That's what they named this meeting. And, you know, for whatever meeting you're joining, it may say something different. It tells you the meeting ID, the host, the passcode, the invite link. Say, for instance, you're talking, or one of your friends is texting you saying, hey, how can I get onto the Zoom? I don't have the link. Right there where it says copy link, you can copy that, paste it, send it in an email. That's one way of inviting them. This one, this little square, this little corner of the square, we don't really do much with, but I use it sometimes when I need to find out if I'm at the right meeting or if I've got the right passcode or that information. And if you just click off to the side, that little window will disappear. Now we're going to go down to bottom to corner number 2. Down, and there should be a little microphone that says mute or unmute. Does everybody see it? Thumbs up. All right. I'm sure all of us have experienced a moment where there was someone unmuted on the call. I encourage everyone to just mute unless you're asked to speak. Because what happens if you're not muted, you think I'm not saying anything, but guess what? If you're wrinkling papers, everybody hears it. And the funny thing, the most embarrassing part about that is, depending on what view you have on your screen, or even for all the hosts or co-hosts, if you are making some noise, say for instance, the phone rings, the dog barks, your kid is upstairs booming his music, guess what? Your little box lights up on our screen and we know it was you making the noise. You don't want that. You don't want that embarrassment. And if your view is on speaker view, which we'll talk about later, as someone's talking, boom, here you come, wrinkling paper, and you're looking like, I don't know what happened. So I warn you and encourage you to please mute your Zoom as much as possible. I think there's super special powers in the microphones through Zoom because it does pick up everything. Now, there's a few ways that you can mute. You can click on the microphone and mute. I would like to see everyone take their mouse or finger, if you're on a phone, click on that mute button, and I should be able to see that everybody's unmuted for a hot second. I'm looking, because if you're muted in your little Zoom, there's a little red microphone with a line through it. So Patty is still not, she's still muted. Stacy's muted, Steve's muted, Kevin's muted. And it's quiet. I don't know how we managed that. Awesome, guys. Okay, now hit that mute button again, just so that you don't get embarrassed, because if you get embarrassed with me, I'm gonna make sure I call you out on it. There are a few ways to unmute. You can use the Zoom bar down there, click on that little microphone and mute and unmute. Above your square, your own individual square, there is a little blue, when you click, move your mouse over to the right corner, you will see mute. You can click on that and unmute. And there are, while we're up there, let's look at those 3 little dots. There's also a mute there. And while we're here, if your name is not your name on your screen, there is a button that says rename. Click on that rename and type in your name, and we all know who you are. This is important because sometimes it just says iPhone, or it says cell phone, or it says Zoom user. We want to know who you are. So make sure when you sign up for our meeting that you put in your name. So I see, oh, we have Goldilocks here. How about that? Mark, you are still showing District 11. I'm calling you out. You need to rename yourself because I know your name is not District 11. There we go. All right. Good job, everybody. So you have that option. And then also a couple of other ways to mute or unmute. There is the Alt-A. You can toggle that and it should turn you, unmute you or mute you. If you are an iPhone, iPad, whatever Apple user, it would be Shift plus Command plus A. And then sometimes if you just want to say add a little word in or something, sometimes the space bar works as well. Okay, is everybody comfortable with the mute and unmute and why it's so important? All right, thumbs up. All right, next little icon to the right of the mute button is the stop. It should say stop video. I see a couple people that aren't showing their face. We won't say bad things about you, Carolyn and Stacy, but you're not showing your face. This button here, it allows you to start your video or stop your video. Now, most of the time when you log on to onto a Zoom meeting, you have the option to join with video or join without video. Some Zoom hosts can turn that off. And the reason why you want to turn that off so that everybody coming in the meeting is not, their video is not on, is because sometimes we're just not quite ready to be on Zoom. We might have forgotten to put our pants on and we sit down and, oh my goodness, we don't want to see that kind of stuff. Or you don't have your hair just right, or your cat's walking across the screen. Whatever the case may be, turn your video off and then turn it on when you're ready. Now, I will suggest that you don't have it off and on, because it can also be distracting, but we're in a Zoom world. We let a lot of things fly. The other reason why, as a host, and Lori may get into this, another reason why you may want to, if you are a Zoom administrator, you might want to set your video to be off for participants entering, because what can happen is those Zoom bombers, they can come in and just do things that you don't want to see on your Zoom. I had the unpleasant experience of being in my church's first ever Zoom prayer meeting. It was a 3-hour meeting, and guess what? We got bombed, and it was bad. It was really bad. I was so proud of all of our elder saints joining, but we got bombed by some people that were cursing at us. They were showing pornographic material. It was all just right there. And the poor guy who set it up had no clue how to turn it off and get him out of there. It was crazy, but we recovered. And now we do Zoom on Bible study, and it works out very well. So if you would right now, I would like for everybody to go down there and click on your stop video, and I should see everybody's picture disappear. Look at that, all names. Now, how did these people get these pictures on there with their names? Well, it's because they have probably a Zoom account and they have that set up in their settings, and you can do that as well if you would like. Everybody start your video. And also with this little icon here, there is a carrot top that allows you to choose your virtual background and your video settings. I see some of us are quite familiar already with those virtual backgrounds. Some of you have already downloaded them, and some of you are using the ones that come standard with the Zoom. So everybody can click on that right now. And you should have a white pop-up on your screen that says, down the left, it says general, video, audio, lots of different things. Over to the right, it should say virtual backgrounds and video filters, maybe. I don't know about video filters for non-hosts. Is everybody seeing that? Okay, well, you can click on one of the ones that's already downloaded by Zoom. I think there's one that says none, which is your background, wherever you are. Blur takes things that are behind you and just makes it into an interesting screen picture. Patty, she is up there. She's got the video. Look at that. She's got movement in hers. So you can choose one of those virtual backgrounds, but you can also download your own. And I will show you how to do that if we have a little extra time, because as the regular Zoom master in my meeting, I think it's important for everyone to at least have timer backgrounds so that when we're in a meeting, we know how to indicate time. So I may show you how to do that later. There are some negatives to the virtual backgrounds. One is sometimes they can be distracting. The other negative is sometimes there is a green screen issue that sometimes shows when you move. It's like, see how Alan has his timers on and part of his arm is cut off? If he moves around, things will not work properly. That's because he has a virtual background, and it's okay for right now what he's doing. But say, for instance, he is timing and he doesn't want the movement or his face in the picture. Lori showed me this really cool tip. If you take a piece of paper or a piece of tape or something and you cover up your little camera, look what happens. You have a virtual background without you in it. That was the coolest thing Lori ever showed me. See, Alan is covering up his camera and he disappears and it's all green. So that is very neat little tool that I thought might help you out. For some of the
We can
advanced-
play peekaboo. It's more interesting for toddlers and babies.
That's true. I'm finding that the little ones love Zoom. They just can't believe people can talk to them that way. So are there any questions about the start-stop video? No? There are also some shortcuts in there in the short start and stop video as well. You can hit the Alt-V that will turn your video off and video on. On an Apple system, it's, let's see, Command plus Shift plus V. So V for video, that should help you there. Okay, next to stop video, we have, some of you may have the security button, and that's if you're a host or co-host. And generally, if you're not a host or co-host, that doesn't mean anything to you, but for the host and co-host, that will help you change what people are doing in the Zoom, whether they can write in the chat or whether they can screen share or rename themselves and all that good permission stuff to keep people out. Next to the security shield, there is an icon that says participants. Right now, it says 17. Someone unmute and tell me what they think that 17 means.
Average age of the participants?
Yes. Number of participants on the screen are participating in the Zoom.
Number of Zooms, that's exactly right. If you click on that little group of 2 people, it will give you a sidebar of everyone that's in the meeting. This comes in handy if you're trying to find who's in the meeting, or if you want to know as a co-host or host who is talking and shouldn't be talking, or who is muted and unmuted. How about that? I'll say that instead of talking. It also will allow you to make some changes to whomever's in the Zoom. If you are not a host or co-host, you might want to chat with someone over there. So that's where that is. It's helpful to help you find who's in the meeting. If you're looking for someone, you can go up to that search box and you can type in a name. You start typing in a character. If you want to find Adelia, you type A and her name pops up. And you can click on her and say something to her if you want. Everybody send Adelia a hello. How about that? Give you an assignment. Okay. That I find to be quite helpful. And right next to that, participants, there is another little carrot top that gives you another invite. That's another option for you to send that link to someone who might be having trouble getting into the meeting, so that the host is not trying to navigate the meeting and helping people get in. So you might be on the other end of where you could click on that invite, and I think it gives you the option to invite through contacts or email. If you're a Zoom user, the contacts are the only contacts that you have set up in your Zoom account. Email, it sets it up to where you can send it in an email. Any questions? Okay, thumbs up if we're moving pretty good. Okay. The next box is the chat. Now, it looks like most of us already are familiar with that, because Scott did tell us to get credit for the meeting tonight. You needed to add your name, your club name, your club role as an officer, so that you can get credit for this class. If you have not done so, now's a good time to do that, because I'm telling you how to use the chat. Now, purposes of the chat. Obviously, you can communicate with each other, right? But I do want you to know that whoever the administrator is of this Zoom gets a chat report. So make sure that you're not saying anything you shouldn't, because whoever that administrator is will see it. The other thing I like to do in chat sometimes is I may see somebody that looks like they're bored. I will go over there and say, hey, Joe, you look like you're bored, smile. Or I may say something funny, and it's always hilarious to say, wake up, or good to see you. And then they'll smile, initiate a smile every once in a while. That's something that might keep you awake. All right. And the other thing I want to show you with the chat is there's a little, it looks like a page, which usually is a new document. You can send a file in the chat. Say, for instance, Kathy didn't get the agenda sent out. So she wants to put it in the file so everybody can have it. She can go over there and click on the little, you guys can do this along with me if you'd like, just it's up to you. Click on that little page and it gives you an option of Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, or Microsoft SharePoint. I thought it would allow me to, sometimes it even says your computer to where you could pull things and put that file into the chat, and the person that you're sending it to or to everybody in the meeting. I went to one meeting in another country. I think it was just, what's that place? I can't remember, Singapore maybe, where you could put, they wanted everybody to have the same background, the same virtual background. So you have that background in your file and you can go to this and attach it, and boom, everybody can install it and everybody has the same file. Does that sound easy? Kathy, I see your hand.
Yeah, there's been a couple questions in chat, and one of them was mine as well, about the chat messages. Now, you said that they were saved and the administrator can see them. My question, it's kind of twofold. One, is it always saved, or is it only saved when you're recording the meeting?
It's always saved. The minute you get off of Zoom, whether you're recording or not, Zoom will send you a copy of the chat.
Oh, okay. And then the second question was, in even the private messages that you send to people?
I don't know. Scott's saying no on that. So maybe no.
So it's
Just-
only
just the
messages sent to
everyone's.
everyone? Okay. Whew.
It's the
Not-
private ones. I know what you've been behind my back.
oh, Scott, you're breaking up.
Go, Scott.
It's all the messages. I know what everyone's been saying behind my back for 2 years. That's not a thing.
No, okay, just the everyone ones.
Okay, I'm going to play with that one just to make sure that doesn't, but either way, just be careful. If it's not a private message, someone else may be able to see it. Mark, you have a question? Mandel? Oh, there's 3 marks on it.
I do, thank you. So I'm glad you mentioned chat and the saved file. Will you explain to people where to find it without having to tear your computer files up to look at where they save the Zoom? It saves Zoom stuff, because that is I find that hard all the time.
What file are you talking about specifically?
So there is the chat file, for example. When I run Zoom meetings, it seems to save it to a documents file somewhere on my computer. Will you cover that at all tonight?
I wasn't planning on it, and I
Okay.
think that might be something that we'll have Lori do, because there's not a whole lot of hosts and co-hosts on here.
Gotcha.
It's one of those, you have to designate where Zoom sends it, and it might even be in the admin side, but I will make sure. I know how I did mine, but sometimes I just do things and then I figure out how I did it later.
Thank
But
you.
I will make sure I mention that to Lori to cover that.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Okay. The other thing about the chat, there's a little emoji over there, so you can click on that, and there's lots of, there used to be only like 3. And I have a whole lot on mine. I don't know how many you have, but that's another option for you to just, indicate a happy face or something. And then there's 3 dots over that. No, you guys, I don't think, okay. Do you guys have 3 dots after the emoji? The ones that are not Okay, I get a thumbs up from Alan. I think the next thing it says over there is save chat. So if you wanted to save what was in the chat because somebody gave you a website or somebody gave you a phone number, you can save the chat. And once you hit the save chat, it's going to ask you where on your computer you want to put it. And then later on, you can access it. It prints it weird, but you are able to move it into Word or whatever document you want it to be in to Waffles. It'll be wherever you want it to be. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions on the chat? Scott, I see your hand raised.
Hey, just one really quick thought though. I know that there's a bazillion different emojis that are in there now, but remember that there is a whole kind of different language that has evolved over the past few years with emojis. So just because you think you're sending a cute little emoji to somebody, it may not necessarily be what you might not be saying what you think you are saying. So be very careful when you start going out and sending just the cute little emojis to people so that you don't end up putting your foot in your mouth without ever knowing that you're putting your foot in your mouth. We as older people don't necessarily keep up with the lingo, but there is a whole generation out there that talks in emojis. Hieroglyphics have come back.
You are so right. I get called out on that sometimes. Mom, you're so old. So good tip. Thank you, Scott. All right. Well, I think I covered everything on the chat. The next challenge for us, it can be challenge, is the share screen. I would like to talk about this a little more, but I'm going to cover a few things now because I'm looking at the time and I want to make sure that this is a tool that we are comfortable using. If you click on the share screen, I think, can everybody do that? Okay, if you click on the share screen, everybody do that. Where I'm not going to ask anybody to share at this point yet. But when you first click on it, there's 3 tabs at the top that say Basic, Advanced, and Files. The Basic is going to show you basically all the files that you have on your computer that you have, or all the applications that you have open. There's one that is the screen, and that's basically your desktop. I don't know how it's working on a phone, but that is your desktop. And if I wanted to show you what my screen was showing, this is where I would click that, and wherever I'm going, you will see. Next, I think there's an iPhone, iPad, at least that's what it is on mine. And that's another Apple function that I'm not familiar with. But if you want to use that, you're welcome to do that. But if you have, say, for instance, you have a PowerPoint that you want to display, I suggest that you open the PowerPoint and get it ready before you start your Zoom. You can minimize your Zoom window and still open it, but you want it in order for it to pop up here so that you can open it, you need to have it open first. And then once you click on whatever file, whatever application you want open, and you hit that share button, it will pop up so that everyone else can see. If you have a video or something that involves sound, there is the share sound that you need to select so that we can hear whatever your video is. So if you're on a YouTube website and you want to show a short snippet of something funny, oh, somebody's sharing. Patty is sharing. Did you mean to do that, Patty? She is sharing a screen with us. I don't know what it is, but she did hit the share and it is allowing us to see what's on her screen. As the co-host or host, we can see who's sharing. And when you want to stop share, there should be a little red button that says stop share at the top of your screen, and you can click on that and it will go away. Patty, can you hit the stop share? She can't. Oh, there she did it. Yay. Give her a pat on the back. She did it. Okay. So she shared her screen, and that's how your Zoom bombers if you don't have that restriction in place, that's how they can put things on your screen for all
That's-
your,
That was planned, wasn't it? That's
no,
clever.
it
Oh,
wasn't.
you're supposed to say yes.
But that's good. I mean, she's exploring. And I think one of the most important things about Zoom is that you get comfortable, play with it a little bit. There's so many gadgets and tools and things within the software that just makes it so much fun. So the other thing I want to show you, everybody can click back on their share screen. This was something that I really had a blast thanks to the masked speaker contest that we had last February. Coolest thing ever. That's really what got me into Zoom, is because when I went to that meeting, I saw people dancing and screens bopping up and it was just amazing. Music and dancing in a Toastmaster meeting. Come on now. There in this feature, in this screen share option here, there's a tab that says advanced. If you will click on that, you will see a few things open up, a few more options. There is PowerPoint as a virtual background. This is really neat if you have PowerPoint slides that you want to have as your background. So you can point out, 1, 2, 3. You can do like the weatherman does. You can point out different things on your background, and your PowerPoint becomes your virtual background. Once you click on that, it's going to open up a window for you to locate where the file is. That's what that does. A portion of screen, that allows you to highlight a portion of your screen that you want to be shared. I might want to just highlight Scott and his little Zoom and put that on there. That's what that's for. But the computer audio, I love it. You guys are great. Who's sharing now? Mark Walton, did you mean to do that? He's playing. I love it. I'm glad look, there we go. He shared with us. Hope I didn't see anything secret. Did anybody else? No? Okay, good. With that share screen option, go back there and click it if it went away, because I do want to make sure that you understand one more feature in this share screen option. There is a button under the advanced tab under share screen that says computer audio. This is where if you wanted to have some music playing in the background of your Zoom, if you wanted to have sound effects of applause or cheering or anything of that nature, you would click on this and click on share sound and share, and it will allow me. Amy's sharing a picture of her 40th birthday cake. You guys are great. I love it. I love these interruptions. These are great. But that's where you can get the sound to come in to your Zoom. I've done that before with, when you have a poll, maybe you've got a long poll that it's going to take some time to answer. Again, load it first, minimize it, and then share it. Okay, because it's harder if you're recording. You can't minimize your Zoom. If you have your Zoom on full screen, you can't minimize it to get to those other things that you want to have ready. So if you have a PowerPoint or some music or a video, have it ready before you Zoom. YouTube, for example, they have ads a lot of times before their videos. Load your YouTube video, play it, skip the ads, pause, rewind, so that when it's ready to play, you don't have an ad coming through your video. Okay, I think that covers share screen. I think Lori may have some other options for you on that, but is everybody clear on that one? Thumbs up? Okay. Some of you may have a recording option. Can you thumbs up if you have that? I know as a host, I see it. Okay, Joseph says he's got one. That allows you to record the meeting if the admin allow you to record it. So you can hit the record, and we're going to know you're recording because it bounces that big announcement that it's being recorded. But if you wanted to record a meeting and watch it later, it will record. And once the Zoom is over, it converts it to a file, and then you decide where you want to put it. The next item on my screen says closed caption, thumbs up. Let's see, Joseph, do you see that on your screen as well? A closed caption option? No? Okay. For the host and co-host, that's one of those things that you could turn on and have the transcript. You can have everything we're saying show across the screen in verbiage. The next item on my Zoom bar is reactions, which we already went through. And again, there's some more emojis there, but not as many, so be careful. If you choose the raise hand function, you will need to lower it at some point, or the host will need to lower it. If it's because it pops up and it puts you like Alan. I don't know if it's for me, Alan and Deborah, it's showing that you guys have a question. So Alan, do you have a question? Nope, he lowered his hand. There we go. You guys are moving around in the Zoom. How about that? Okay, I think that covers the bottom of our Zoom map. The last button over to the right is the end or leave. This is important for you to know about because a lot of times people will put their laptop down, walk out the door, put the phone in the pocket, hit the power button, turn it off. Guess what? You're still in a Zoom call. You're in a Zoom call unless you leave the meeting or end the call. So make sure that you do that so that you are actually out of the meeting. As the admin or host, they can block you out of there, but to save them that effort, you go ahead and end the meeting when you're finished, or leave when you're all finished. Okay, corner number 4 is the view button, view image, I guess. If you click on the view, it should say speaker, gallery, and possibly full screen. Am I correct? Okay. The speaker, if you select the speaker option, what it does is whoever is speaking, it makes them #1 priority on your screen. So while it's me talking, you should have this big ugly picture. No, I'm just kidding. This big picture of me talking. And for the spotlighting, sometimes when the host will spotlight someone, that one person will hop up on the screen, and you can play around with your views still. But for the most part, you cannot remove that one speaker. I use spotlighting for speeches or whoever, especially speeches, so that when you have a video at the end, it's just you in the video, not everybody. So that's what the speaker view is for. Gallery shows you everyone in the meeting. Right now we have 16 participants, and they fit on my screen very nicely. If in fact there were 150, you would get 2 little arrows to the left and right of your view. You can click on those arrows and page over and look at all those other people past the top 16 on your screen. And and then full screen, I honestly, just giving you my opinion, I don't like the full screen because it just takes control. But if you are in a meeting and you're not planning on minimizing and opening up another file, if you're just going to sit there and watch, then go ahead and do the full screen, because what it does is it just allows the full screen of your computer to be just this Zoom meeting. And now, are there any other questions about the full screen or about gallery view? There is a feature I just want to show real quick since we don't have very many people here. I want to show you guys, there is a view that is available to host and co-host. It's called the immersive view. And what it does is it takes everybody's Zoom and puts them in like a classroom. And there's different versions, there's different options here where we can change. We can go to another style of classroom. And it's kind of fun because everybody's can still do their own thing. Sometimes that green screen throws people off, but looks like you guys are all having fun, paying attention. And look, I get to be the teacher because I'm the speaker. How about that? So that might be fun in a smaller meeting, Now let's see if I can remember how to end it. But it's really a neat for the host. I want you to be willing to try it sometimes. Let me see.
For those of us with camera problems, we're missing.
Yeah, you are missing. I'm sorry. But you're here in spirit. We can still hear you. And that's the most
Yeah.
important. That's the most important part. And let's see. I think I have covered all four corners. I do want to encourage you, if someone is spotlighting and that main person pops up on your screen, when the host removes that spotlight option, a lot of times that person is still on your screen. That's when you get to go up there and you get to hit the views button and change it back to whatever you want it to be. What is on your screen is on your screen. It's not on anybody else's, unless as the host, we can sometimes force our way into making it be a certain way. But for the most part, it's your screen. You can take the Zoom boxes and move them around if you want. If I want Scott to be at the bottom, I can put him at the bottom. If I want, you can click on a Zoom box and just move it. So there's a lot of, I think you can. Has anybody tried it? I want to see if you can try it. Okay. So, and the other thing I might tell you is you can pin people. Say, for instance, I need to watch Mark, make sure he's not sleeping. I've been assigned the job to make sure he's not sleeping. I could pin his video. You go to those little dots, those 3 dots on his Zoom, you click on pin, and he pops up there just for you to stare at. Comes in handy sometimes if you're giving speeches and you want to say pin the timer, or if you want to pin the Toastmaster so that you know what they're doing. That is another feature that can be helpful. Okay, I am about finished with the other things that I was going to tell you about were extras. One extra I want to tell everybody that is a Zoom user, if you have a Zoom app on your laptop or on your phone, make sure you update. Zoom is doing this thing that if you don't update, I think they're going to do it automatically or kick you out. There's some punishment if you don't do it. And the reason why you want to update is because it allows you to get the latest and greatest features in Zoom. I'm going to share screen here with you in a little bit so I can show you how to do that. Get up there. Here we go. Oh, it's not letting me. Here we go. Okay, let me share screen. I'll show you how to do that. Maybe. Here we go. Nope. Where'd it go? You guys see each other here? Let's see. Okay, can you see my screen here? It's got Zoom at the top and Ask Away. Let's change it here. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Thanks, Adele. At the top of your Zoom, if you have the Zoom app on your computer or your phone, I think with the phone, you just go to your app store and update. But you will find your little icon. Mine says RB. You will click on there. Oops. And down about right here, it says check for updates. You click on there and it tells you whether or not you are up to date. I've been a good girl. I'm up to date. But this is something you might want to do, or you should do every once in a while, to make sure that you are current with whatever Zoom has to make your Zooms more secure, to make them more fun. They've added apps. They do a lot of things, because when we are unhappy and we express a complaint to them, they try to fix it. It's pretty cool. So I encourage you all to make sure that you update your Zoom so that they don't have to, and that you have the most current software on your system. Just like updating your phone. Sometimes they do it when we don't want to. Okay, well, I think that about wraps up all I have to say. Of course, there's always more to do in Zoom. Scott, I see your hand. Do you have a question? Comment?
Actually, Joe was before me.
And he put it down.
Yeah, I did when you didn't call on me, so I just put it down so it didn't stay up. When you talk about, or Kia talked about the Zoom, this is if you have a standard Zoom account.
Uh-oh. You froze on my screen. It doesn't matter whether you're a paid user or not. If you have that app on your desktop or on your phone, it's something you need to update. Not everybody, I do believe, I don't know if Zoom still has it, but they were giving away allow you a free account where you don't have to pay. You've got limitations on how long you can talk and how many members and whether you can record or not. But that app still is something you would need to have on your computer and need to keep it updated. I hope I answered Joe's question. You must have a bad connection. Scott, what was your question?
When you were sharing screen, can you go back in and share your screen again and then show everyone how to expand that row of the gallery view? So instead of having to scroll up and down, you can shrink the screen of the share so you can see everybody that's on the call if you want to.
Okay.
Those two little bars on the right-hand side, right beside all the pictures.
Okay, and I'll have to tell you, it does not, can you guys see my Zoom?
Yep.
Is it what you're seeing? Okay, so at the top right hand in that corner number 3, you have view options. I'm doing this blind because it's not going to work for me since I should have had somebody else share, but that's okay. You should have a view of Scott, can you help me out here and tell me what it says on your view?
It doesn't matter what, so whenever you're doing it doesn't matter about the view. When somebody is sharing their screen, if you then go to the right-hand side, and if you see that whole line of pictures of people going up and down on your right-hand side of your screen, just beside that, there are 2 little white lines. If you take that and pull that to the left, you can increase the amount of people that you see. So you don't have just one column of gallery view. You can put everybody up to, I think it's 12 or 18 people. It's in multiples of 6 or 7, I believe. So you can shrink the amount of the share screen you see and increase the amount of people you see, so you can view it a little bit easier.
No, I'm going to change the screen. That way you guys can see with all the Zoom, you're seeing everybody else. So maybe this helps as far as how you change your views. I see some lost faces. Are you understanding it, Kathy?
I'm just trying to see what you're sharing. I understand that you can adjust the sides of your screen by when you hover around the edges, you're able to pull them over. Yeah.
Yeah, there's several options in how you change it, whether the ratio, you can make it smaller so that what I'm sharing doesn't take up your whole screen. That's funny. I'm glad you asked that, Scott, because that was one of the things Lori told me to show. I will have her redo that because she told me to do it, but she also told me to have somebody else share so that I can help, and I didn't do that. So thank you for pointing that out. I'll make sure that I get her to.
We have time right now if you want to have somebody else share their screen.
I guess we do.
If you want to work on it.
Did anybody try it? Are you comfortable with it? Okay, Scott Brown is sharing. All right. So if you click on, if I click on view, at the top it says standard. So it allows me to see Scott's screen share. My gallery of participants is at the top. And then I have my participants view on the side. There is a side-by-side speaker option. Click that and see what happens. It took everybody in the gallery out and it allowed me to see Scott's document and who is speaking. Then there's side-by-side gallery. I see Scott's document and I see my Zoom participants to the right. And then there's, let's see, there's a follow host order. I'm not going to make you guys do that, but I think there's another option for you where you can change the ratios. And that's, you can do that on your, that's not showing up on my screen.
I think that's too where Scott was saying that if you hover over in between the shared screen and our pictures, there's a little faint double white line that if you hover over, it's kind of in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, on the right,
on the right.
it's the window box. If you go just to the right of the page, as you go right in the middle, you'll come up with a little arrow, and you
Right.
just
Expanding arrow, yeah.
You guys could
expand the
try it
arrow.
right now and hover
Yeah.
over there and just pull it left to right, and it'll make either the shared screen smaller if you're pulling it left, and the gallery part bigger, or you could do the opposite and make the gallery smaller and the shared screen bigger.
That's right. Thank you, Scott. Awesome. Let me get my chat back open. I did see someone ask about hosts and co-hosts. Please tell us about being a host and co-host. The host is usually who set up the Zoom, who has the admin rights on the Zoom. That's whoever it was that opened up the meeting. The host has all the controls to decide whether people are muted, whether their videos are seen. They set up the admin part of the meeting. As the host, you can assign someone to co-host, someone to have some of the same control, not all of the control, but a lot of things. They can launch polls. They can launch the polls that were already created. Only the host can edit those. But there's a lot of freedoms that the host and that they have together over the meeting, things that they can see that other people cannot see, that we can change views and we can spotlight speakers and all that good stuff if you're a host or co-host. That is what Lori is going to help us with on Thursday as well. So be sure to be there, because I'll just tell you, when you're a host of any Zoom meeting, if you have more than 5 people, it helps sometimes to have a co-host. Because if you're talking, you can't be letting people in or watching who's talking and all that. So you have, like in this meeting, if you look on that participants, you'll see that I have 3 co-hosts, Mark, Kathy, and Scott, 4. And then I'm the host because Kathy changed me to be the host. So those roles can be given and they can be taken away. So treat them right when you're in that position. Okay, how can I do a survey with the Zoom meeting? Okay, Kevin, how you would do a survey with a Zoom meeting? If you have an admin, if you have your own Zoom account, that is an option in polls. You can do it through polls. There's also some other softwares. I would suggest that you Google surveys within Zoom, because there's a lot of things that you can, I've heard there's phone numbers that you can make as, put them in there and do votes through like a group, a conference call, like one designated number. There's other applications that will allow you to incorporate surveys. In Zoom, they have the poll features that has to be set up by the admin. You can create a poll to ask whether you liked being here tonight. It's usually one-ended questions, but I've noticed in the update, there's some changes to that too. I'm not familiar with them yet, but I saw that they had some updates on that. Let's see, I think, yeah, okay, so someone said something.
So Rakia, I think we're going to have a lot. It sounds like we're inspiring a lot of questions. And this is a perfect tie-in to promote Thursday's session, which will take us a little bit further into Zoom. Zoom 201, same time, same bat channel, people. So join us Thursday for that. And I want to thank Rakia on behalf of District 11, since it is 9 o'clock. We are going to be wrapping things up. And I'm going to practice my Zoom expertise here as well. Share my screen. On behalf of District 11, we would like to honor Rakia with this certificate of appreciation. Everybody unmute and give Rakia a Toastmaster thank you. Thank you, Rakia. This was awesome.
Superb.
Great job, Rakea.
Great job.
Thank you.
Way cool.
Wonderful.
And again, as a reminder of our conference events, tomorrow night is Patty. Frankie, Patty, can you raise your hand, wave to everybody? Patty's going to be presenting tomorrow night a session on online presentations with OBS Studio. Don't want to miss that. That's going to be very informative as well. Hopefully we will have lots of fun and learning and laughs along the way, I'm sure. And then Thursday again is Zoom 201. Friday night is lightning in a bottle. Find electric moments in your speech. And then of course, Super Saturday, learning, laughs, and lots of fun. And we will have door prizes on Saturday. So don't want to miss it. Come join us again. Thank you all for coming tonight. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care.